I remember when I was 16 years old and I was in high school and I was at lunch hanging out with some of my friends at this table. Now, the thing is about these friends is that everyone around me played video games. All of my friends that I had in high school were literally gamers. And so, literally, all that we'd talk about was video games and leveling up in those video games. Whether it was inside of school, outside of school, whatever it was, that's what we did. And so, of course, since all of my friends were like this, that's kind of how I was. And so there I was sitting at the table at lunch with the gamers. And I remember very specifically that day we were talking about Rocket League. And so at that time I was very, very invested into that game. And we would always talk about skills or different techniques that we could use to win the game. And so I remember as I was talking about video games to my friends, I look over to my right and I see this pretty girl walking up to me. And I remember her walking right up to me and trying to start a conversation. But to be honest, I didn't even know what to say. I didn't even know what to talk about. This is such a brutal story, bro. And so literally, since I didn't know what to talk about, bro, I started talking about video games, my guy. Video games. And so what do you think she did? After like 3 minutes of me talking about Rocket League, which she didn't even know what it was, she like said she had to go do something and walked away. And so I literally just lost that opportunity. It was clear that she was interested in me, but I was too busy talking about video games. So that is a brutal, brutal story of my life at the time. Now, fast forward to when I was 18 in my senior year of high school. By that point, I'd left all my friends who would play video games, like all the losers that would sit around and play video games the entire day. I left those friends. And so this was the year that I actually started to fully focus on myself. And so remember, this was the year that I joined my first weight training class. And so it was full of other guys who wanted to improve themselves, improve their physique, improve their academics, who were fully focused on achieving those goals, right? The goals that they wanted. And so these guys just wanted to better themselves and reach their potential. And so not all of them wanted to do this. Some of them were just lazy, but there was a good group of guys who actually wanted to do this. And so now instead of getting positive feedback and affirmations from leveling up in a video game, now that was kind of frowned upon. But now with these new friends, it became more about becoming stronger, becoming faster, smarter, becoming more well-rounded as an individual. And so while these friends weren't perfect, some of them still smoked weed or had bad habits, it was still a huge upgrade from where I was at before. Sure, some of my friends that were weight training and were focusing on themselves, sure, some of them had some bad habits, but it was something that they were actively working on, and it wasn't near to the level of my old friends. And so by this point in time, I had completely cut off those old friends. And to be honest with you, now that I look back at it, they weren't even my friends. They were just partners in pleasure. And so anytime I would try to improve or better my life, I would get ostracized for it. Like they would make fun of me for even trying those things. And so now that I look back at it, it was very clear that they just didn't want to see me doing better than them, that they didn't want to see me improving, and a real friend wouldn't want that. And so I remember after making these new friends, one of them I walked up to and I was telling them about what I'm doing, telling them about me trying to get more fit, more athletic. And I remember at the time I was working on my bench press. And I remember this guy was giving me tips because his bench was really good. And so I remember after him giving me these tips, he told me, "Good job on you for actually trying to improve." And so it was so refreshing to hear that I was finally on the right path. And so after spending some time in the gym, I remember walking by one of my old friends. And I remember at the time he was still playing the video games, still doing all the bad habits with those old friends. And I remember walking up to him and he was super impressed with how much I'd changed and how quickly I did it. And so I remember he was like, "Oh, where have you been? You should come play with us again." And I remember just telling him, "Oh yeah, sure. One day I'll play with you guys later." And I remember at that moment, I knew I wasn't ever going to play with them again. And the funniest part of the story is that a few weeks after saying that, I heard that these same friends were talking bad about me. But the thing is, they would never do it in front of me. I would always hear it from the other people in their circle. They would always just talk bad about me, talk about how they never want to be me. And so they didn't only talk bad about me behind my back, but all of the other friends that I made that were new, that I actually wanted to improve their lives. Now, by this point, we didn't care at all because we knew what we were, we knew what we wanted, and we knew that they were just holding us back. And so it was after this that I learned that the people that you surround yourself with are the people that you're going to be the most like. The thing is, if you surround yourself with bad people who have bad habits, then you're going to end up like those people. And so the more and more time that you spend with those people, the more and more you'll be like that, and the harder it would be to leave that group. But when you start to surround yourself with people who actually want to improve their lives, maybe it's people who are more religious, people who are working on their bodies and working out in the gym, people who are hard workers, people who always seem to do what's right. When you surround yourself with those people, then you become more like those people. So it's like a double-edged sword. You can choose to surround yourself with people who are actually going to pull you forward, or you can choose to surround yourself with people who are going to hold you back and keep you in that zone of complacency. And so one of the easiest ways to actually start changing is to surround yourself with people that you want to be like. Now, something that I learned from this is that it's not limited only to person-in-person interactions. You can still be influenced by people online. You can still be influenced by people by reading their books. And so while surrounding yourself with other people that you want to be like definitely helps, and you should definitely do it. If you find a book of somebody that you like or somebody that you want to be like, and you start reading it, you'll start to think like that person too, or you'll start to think more like that person. Or if you watch a video online of somebody that you like or somebody that you want to be like, you will become more like that person and you'll start to think like them too. So if you have trouble finding people in the real world that you actually want to be like, it's great to still go online and find those people, or to read books, or doing both. The last thing that I learned is that some people literally don't want to see you doing better than them. And the moment that you start upgrading your life, the moment that you start improving, they will try to pull you back. They will try to hold you back and stop you. Because the thing is that us as humans, when we see someone doing better than ourselves, it kind of makes us anxious. It almost makes us envy those people, right? And the thing is, most people, they learn how to control this. And a lot of people actually want to see you succeed. And so they will try relentlessly to pull you back. You probably have friends, or you probably noticed friends that are like this. It's like the more and more you level up in life, the more that you feel their pull, like them trying to pull you back down. And it's honestly one of the most evil things that somebody can do. So if you take this path, tread very wary of those people. Be very careful with those people. So if you want to start building good habits, you want to start living life differently, life without so many distractions, life without so much hits of dopamine, right? From scrolling, from eating junk food. And you want to live a more fulfilling life where you get to explore nature, you get to speak to more people, and you spend less time sitting inside on your phone, then make sure you go down right now and subscribe to this channel, because I literally talk about all of these things. And so I actually want to pull you up. I want to help you level up on your journey instead of pulling you back down, right? So make sure you subscribe. And if you have any questions, I have a link to my Instagram, and you can click on that and ask me anything you want. So make sure if you have any questions, you just go there. My name is Justin, and remember, you deserve the consequences of your actions.